Good morning from Franconia Notch in New Hampshire. Today's adventure is going to be to try to hike Cannon Mountain. Last night a lot of rain came through, some thunderstorms. The mountains are still completely clouded over this morning. So I don't think I'm going to have any views at the top. But I'm hoping this trail will be okay when it's a little bit wet. Probably be muddy, but that's fine with me. I parked at the Cannon Mountain Tramway parking area, and I'm going to take the Kinsman Ridge Trail up to Cannon Mountain. So as our sign here says, it's 2 miles. It's also 2,000 feet of ascent, with most of that happening maybe in the first 1.5 miles or so. So this is definitely going to be a steep climb. Looking into the woods at the start of this trail, I see it starts going up right away. I am at about 2,800 feet of elevation, and it's been steep climbing as I expected. Right now I'm going up this little slabby section. It's got water running down it today. I don't know if that's normal or not. It did rain a lot last night, so there's probably more water on the trail than there is on drier times. So at about 3,100 feet elevation on Cannon Mountain, I'm definitely going up. This trail's a lot more what I would call Adirondack-y than I expected. For those of you who've hiked Adirondack high peaks, you know what I mean. I've been climbing up a lot of rocks with a stream running down it. Just came up a more like smooth slab section that I had to kind of look on the edges some places for some roots to grab onto. And I've got some more climbing to do. It looks like the trail will start to level out at about 3,700 feet. That's where I'm continuing to climb up. I've reached the ridge of Cannon Mountain. The outlook goes over to the left, but given that I'm up in the clouds, I'm going to skip that right now. I'm going to take the turn to the right. And Cannon Mountain's got a little bit of everything today. I've got standing water in the trail, mist coming off the clouds. I put my pack cover on to keep my pack a little bit dry. It's pretty warm, so I'm just letting myself get wet. But coming up here, the first 500 feet of ascent was steep, but dirt, root, rock. Then there was about 1,000 feet of ascent that was what I called Adirondack-y or Adirondack-like. Very rocky, some smooth rock slabs that you kind of have to go along the edges and pull yourself up with some roots. And then the last couple hundred feet up to this ridge have been a little bit more gradual. Again, rocks to step on, but smaller rocks to step up. And on the topo map, it looks like I'm on a little false summit. I'm gonna dip down maybe 20 to 50 feet and then make it up to the summit of Cannon. And now I'm heading up to the main peak. This one is definitely more rugged than I expected for it being just over 4,000 feet. I'm onto a pile of jumbled rocks to crawl over. So now I feel like I'm hiking up in Baxter State Park in Maine. So this is the trail that I'm hiking up, a bunch of jumbled rocks to take careful steps on. And I'm going eventually somewhere up there to the summit. Only 150 feet of elevation left. So I'm here at the radio tower, up on the observation deck, and as you can see behind me, I'm in the clouds, so no view today. But I'll take a couple minutes up here for a little bit of a break, and then I've got the climb back down. This one was definitely rockier than I expected it to be. I didn't do a whole lot of research on this one ahead of time. I don't think I've watched anyone's videos on this mountain. So this was rockier than I expected it to be, but similar to many other 4,000 footers I've done. So if you're early in your 4,000 footer journey, this one gives you a little bit of a taste of everything, of steep dirt trails, steep rock trails, big rocks and small rocks that you have to walk across. There was, muddy trail up on the ridge, so had a little bit of everything for a 4,000 footer. Clouds are starting to lift, so I headed over to the overlook on my way down. Clouds are just blowing by, so depending on where they're blowing, there's a little bit more of a view or a little bit less. Cannon Mountain is somewhere up there in the clouds still. The black flies have also come out with the sun. Hoping they'll go away as I get down, or else I'm going to have to get some bug spray and a bug net. There's I-93 going through Franconia Notch. And then Franconia Ridge is up there in the clouds, Lincoln and Lafayette. Still up there, obscured in the clouds. But at least I got a little bit of a view under the clouds here. And just below 3,500 feet, came down this slab, past some people almost at the summit who are putting these markers out for a race, for a trail running race. The clouds are lifting a little bit, so I do see a bit of a view here. And I'm going to follow the water and keep heading down this trail. Made it! Coming out of the Kinsman Ridge Trail, back into the parking area over by Cannon Mountain Ski Area. See, there's my Kinsman Ridge Trail sign where I went in and came out in the same place. Oh, the sun's coming out some more now. All right, so that was a tough one. 2,000 feet and 2 miles up and 2,000 feet and 2 miles down. Except it really does most of that ascent in about 1.5 miles. I'm going to call this one the Northeast High Peak Sampler Platter. The terrain just keeps changing on it. So similar terrain to what you get in a lot of the different New Hampshire peaks. There was some rocks at the top that were really a lot like Maine, and some kind of scrambly slabs along the way that were a lot like the Adirondacks. Best view all day from the parking lot at Cannon Mountain Ski Area. I think that's going to wrap up this trip I did over to New Hampshire. Thinking about driving back home today. I vaguely thought about doing another hike this afternoon, but the Cannon Mountain took longer than I expected, so I'm not going to get another hike in today. I think I did Owl's Head and I just did Cannon Mountain. I think that's enough for me for this trip. So only 2 mountains on this trip, but 2 that needed to get done and got checked off the list. The only thing I haven't liked with the Cannon Mountain hike is all the noise from Interstate 93. This is typical for hiking in Franconia Notch. You hear the interstate. So other than that, it was a nice hike. And again, I'm going to call this the Northeast High Peak Sampler Hike.